Hi there, my name is Dr. Tim Gravoy, and I'm the Executive Director of TGS Educational Consulting. And I'm so glad that you're taking this opportunity to check out what it's like to take a Zoom workshop with me. And so this next one is going to be on creating inclusive classrooms for students with ADHD with a particular focus on time outdoors and physical activity. And the first thing to know is that workshops with me are going to be highly interactive by design. And one of the tools that I use for this is Mentimeter. And it's always an invitation, never an expectation. But I'll always invite everybody to participate in the interactive portion of our presentation by using the Mentimeter tools. Now, this may or may not work right now for you because it's a video and not the actual live presentation. But in the live presentation, you'll be able to respond to questions, to vote on things, to share your thoughts and feelings at different times in different ways. And it tends to be a very engaging, supportive way for us to do our best thinking without necessarily the pressure of raising hands and sharing out loud every single time. A little bit more about me professionally. Again, my name is Dr. Tim Gravoy. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm the Executive Director of TGS Educational Consulting, and I've been in education for 22 years. Now, right now, an awful lot of my work really is in behavior interventions, and I've led PBIS implementation as a teacher, as a building leader, a central office administrator, and now a facilitator working with schools and districts to help schools build systems and practices that are going to help us get our arms around all of our students, especially students who need a little extra love and support to be their best. Bit more about me personally. This is my partner. He's a beautiful human being inside and out, and not necessarily a country music fan all the time, always. But he has been with me now to 3 Kane Brown concerts, who happens to be my favorite artist in the world. And for our anniversary, he got us as a gift tickets to an upcoming concert in San Diego. I can't wait to see it because it's going to be part of that new tour. So I'm really super excited about that. And I'll tell you what, this is just a beautiful human being that I'm happy to introduce you to. This right there is my Pokemon buddy. He's Akiram. I'm really proud that he's doing super duper well right now. And if you're also a Pokemon Go enthusiast, I'd love to be friends with you on the app and we can hang out on Pokemon together. But Pokemon started out just as a way for me to hang out with my best friend in Texas because he lives so far away. But now it's honestly something I really do enjoy, just playing while I'm walking my dog or whatever. This child right here is my oldest child who doesn't like having her picture taken too often, but really wanted me to take this photo of her climbing a tree. She really just melts into nature when she gets there, and just is an absolutely cool kid, and I just love being her dad. These 2 kids below her and just slightly above my head, I think, in the green shirts, they're my 6-year-old twins, and they love playing soccer. Now, my daughter, I think, is really enjoying learning how to play the game and how to be on a team and things like that. Whereas my son, I think, just enjoys going to soccer because he's allowed to kick things there. But either way, it's been a great experience for our family, and I just really love being the dad to these 3 great kids and the partner to this amazing human being over here too. And I hope just as we get to know each other too, I get to know more about you personally, more about you professionally, just as we walk together in this great work that we get to do helping kids learn and grow. Now, one of the things that I always ask in this particular workshop is I always ask, someone I care about has ADHD. Now, again, the reason why I ask this question is never because, there's a right answer here, like yes is the best and no is the worst or something like that. It's just to note that wherever we might be at is going to influence how we approach this content a bit. So if there's a lot of folks in the call who are yeses and just a few nos, it's important for everybody to know that we're coming at this from different places here, and we might be engaging with the content in different parts of the content differently just because our lived experience is going to influence where our attention goes to some degree. Another question I'm going to ask is, I'm an adult with ADHD. Now, my dot is firmly here in this yes bucket for sure, because I am definitely an adult with ADHD. But a lot of people do share that yes, they are. A lot of folks might share that no, they're not. And then every now and then we get a couple of folks who say, probably, yeah. And I'll tell you what, again, this is another one where the purpose of this question early on in the workshop really isn't to say that there's a correct answer here, that yes, you are, no, you're not. It's just to share that, hey, we're a diverse group of people on this call. We have neurotypical folks, we'll have neurodiverse folks of all different kinds. And wherever we're at on that spectrum is going to influence how we approach this content. And it's good just to know that we're all together in this room doing this learning together. Now, in terms of the content, one of the things is that I'll also get started with is just what school adults often notice about children and youth with ADHD. And we might notice that kids and youth are not paying attention, that they might be out of their seat, that their desk is a mess and their planner is empty. They might be talking too loudly or at the wrong time. They might struggle with taking things or not taking turns. And this is honestly not just an elementary thing. That can really happen grades 0 to 99 when it comes to ADHD. Struggling to get started or to break down big tasks on their own, or not following directions the way that we wish they would, or oftentimes even having extreme negative reactions to correction. Now, all of these are symptoms of ADHD, or things that we'll often notice about students with ADHD that can be really challenging if we don't understand how to create appropriate supports for students or what seems to be effective interventions for them. Now, the other thing to note about ADHD is that it has some comorbid conditions, which is a fancy way of saying that ADHD has some toxic best friends. And those toxic best friends are anxiety, rejection sensitivity, and demand avoidance. And of course, anxiety just being a pervasive worry that gets in about something we can't control, that gets in the way of our ability to function. Anxiety comes in a lot of different flavors. Rejection sensitivity, the idea that if any kind of perceived criticism at all, it doesn't feel good for any of us, but for kids with rejection sensitivity, in addition to ADHD, that perceived criticism, the effect of that can just be magnified inside our hearts and inside our minds in ways that are not helpful. And also demand avoidance can be really tricky, or things that are presented as a demand, even if it's something that we want to do. For example, like, hey, it's time to line up for recess, put the book away, let's go. Sometimes a student with ADHD that also has demand avoidance as part of their profile might want to continue reading that book, even though it's time for us to go outside. And there's lots of reasons for that, ways to work with that. But it's just an important thing to note, can also happen alongside ADHD as well. Now, when we think about it, there are some evidence-based, not medicine interventions for children and youth with ADHD. And the not medical interventions are important because we're not really in charge of whether or not a family chooses to pursue a medical intervention for ADHD. And there is some strong evidence base for all of these things, but in terms of the broadest amount of evidence, the greatest effect size, it is so clear that time outdoors and physical activity really are the most evidence-based intervention for students with ADHD. So if you see this video and happen to see this question later on, the right answer is physical activity. And so it's going to be really neat to have you here and participating in this learning because you'll have an opportunity to make the most evidence-basted decisions in terms of how we're going to help our students with ADHD, but also make them in classroom possible, school possible, and district possible ways so that we're not just imagining what we'd like to do, but making a promise of support to provide our students with ADHD the inclusive classrooms that they absolutely need to be their best in schools. And again, I'm just so grateful that you're here. I can't wait to see you at this workshop, and definitely sign up and share this with colleagues that you believe would get a lot out of it. And again, my name is Dr. Tim, and I cannot wait to see you.